She was the queen of the red carpet. At 43, Sharon Stone was unstoppable, Oscar-nominated, radiant, at the peak of global fame. But one morning, everything changed. A stroke hit. And just like that, Hollywood moved on. Jamie Foxx, an icon of energy and talent, collapsed in the middle of a film set. Not from a stunt gone wrong, but from a hidden time bomb inside his bloodstream. Both had access to the best doctors, the best diets, and yet, they lost their most precious asset, control. Because what they didn't realize is this: the foods you trust, the ones labeled healthy, can quietly turn your blood into sludge. The result? Increased blood pressure. Thickened blood. Silent clots. Until one day, your brain runs out of oxygen. And your story ends too soon. In today's video, we'll uncover the top 10 foods that silently raise your stroke risk, foods most seniors eat every week without a second thought. And if you stay until the end, I'll share one simple shift. A habit backed by Harvard research, that could unclog your vessels, sharpen your mind, and add decades of freedom to your life. It was just breakfast. A glass of orange juice, a bowl of cereal, maybe a slice of toast with jam. Nothing crazy. Nothing unhealthy, right? That's exactly what Gerald, 68, thought, until his doctor showed him the scan. His blood? Thick like syrup. His arteries? Inflamed. His brain? One clot away from disaster. What was the real culprit? Refined sugar. The very thing hiding in heart-healthy granola, low-fat yogurts, store-bought sauces, and even light salad dressings. These ultra-processed foods spike your blood sugar, inflame your blood vessels, and increase the risk of stroke, heart attack, and hypertension in the elderly. Refined sugar doesn't just sweeten your food, it silently thickens your blood. And when your blood is thick, your heart must pump harder, your arteries stiffen, and the risk of blood pressure spikes from poor diet increases tenfold. Harvard researchers confirm, even 1 can of soda a day can increase stroke risk by 16%. So, yes, your breakfast could be your biggest threat. And it doesn't stop there. High sugar intake also increases visceral fat, clogs capillaries, and, get this, feeds brain fog. You lose memory before you lose your heartbeat. So what can you do? Start with the labels. If sugar is one of the first 3 ingredients, ditch it. Swap your orange juice for water with lemon. Your jam for mashed berries. And if you're serious about living in the top 1% of healthy seniors, avoid refined sugar like you'd avoid a ticking time bomb. Have you checked your cereal box lately? Comment yes or now I will below. And stay tuned, because the next food on our list is a favorite among healthy snackers, and it's destroying hearts daily. Let me tell you about Donna. 71 years old. Kind smile. Loves gardening, Sunday church, and her homemade trail mix. But Donna had no idea, one tiny ingredient in that mix was turning her blood into sludge. It wasn't candy. It wasn't chips. It was trans fat, lurking in the healthy crackers and peanut butter she added to her afternoon snack. Here's the truth most labels won't tell you. Even if it says 0 trans fat, that doesn't mean 0. If it's under 0.5 g per serving, manufacturers are allowed to round it down. But those 0.4s add up. And when you're over 60, every fraction matters. Trans fats are among the worst ingredients for senior heart health. They harden arteries, trigger inflammation, and increase LDL, bad, cholesterol, all while lowering HDL, good, cholesterol. It's a recipe for silent disaster. In Donna's case, her blood pressure readings were climbing even though her diet looked clean. Her cardiologist was baffled. Until they traced it back to her so-called smart snacks. That low-fat peanut butter she used. Laced with partially hydrogenated oils, one of the sneakiest sources of trans fat. And here's the kicker. Trans fats don't just affect your heart. They've been linked to memory issues, insulin resistance, and yes, even stroke risk in the elderly. So, what can we do? Read every label. If you see partially hydrogenated, drop it. Swap processed snacks for whole foods, avocado, boiled eggs, raw nuts, but the right ones, not the ones from segment 5. Choose natural peanut butter with one ingredient, peanuts. And if you're wondering how Donna is doing today, she made those swaps. 3 months later, her blood pressure dropped by 12 points, her energy came back, and she started dancing again at her community center. Have you checked the label on your peanut butter lately? Drop a yes or now I will in the comments. And stick around. Because the next food we're exposing is something that's probably in your fridge right now. I met Walter at a senior wellness fair in Florida. A retired firefighter, tough hands, firm voice, and the warmest laugh in the room. But behind that strong presence, Walter was fighting something most people ignore, high blood pressure from his favorite breakfast. And no, it wasn't bacon or sausages. It was something he thought was healthy. Cereal. The kind that says, heart smart, whole grain, low fat. Walter told me with pride, "Doc, I don't eat junk. I start every day with bran flakes, raisins, and skim milk." And yet, his blood pressure was climbing. His doctor added another medication. Still no change. So he came to me, curious, but skeptical. I looked at the label. And there it was. Added sugars. Up to 18 g per serving. And not just any sugar, high fructose corn syrup. You see, sugar doesn't just affect your waistline, it changes your circulation. Especially in seniors, high sugar intake leads to blood vessel stiffness, increased inflammation, and long-term cardiovascular damage. Combine that with low fiber and artificial additives. You've got a morning disaster wrapped in a healthy disguise. Walter made the switch. He replaced cereal with steel-cut oats, chia seeds, and fresh berries. 1 month later, his blood pressure dropped 10 points. And last I heard, he's become the oatmeal evangelist at his local community center. So, here's my question. What's really in your breakfast bowl? Let me know in the comments below. And if this segment opened your eyes, give it a like so more people can hear it. Stay with me, because the next segment covers a silent villain in your favorite drinks. And yes, I used to drink it too. Do you know what Henry, 68, told me last spring? "Harold, I gave up soda years ago. I only drink one healthy green tea bottle a day now, 0 calories, 0 sugar. It even says antioxidant on the label." He was so proud. And who could blame him? But when I looked at the label, I didn't smile. I frowned. It wasn't just green tea. It was bottled tea, packed with artificial sweeteners, namely, aspartame and sucralose. These chemicals are often used in zero-sugar drinks marketed to seniors. Here's the twist. Studies published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology show that these sweeteners can raise blood pressure, disrupt gut bacteria, and actually increase your risk of heart attacks and strokes. Think about it. Your brain gets the sweet signal, but your body never gets real energy. The result? Cravings. Blood sugar instability. And yes, circulation problems. For older adults trying to prevent heart disease, artificially sweetened drinks may be even worse than sugary ones. They quietly alter metabolic function, mess with insulin response, and heighten your risk for cardiovascular collapse. I gently asked Henry to try something different, fresh brewed tea at home with a slice of lemon and a dash of cinnamon. No sweeteners. Just steep, sip, and breathe. 3 weeks later, Henry told me his bloating had reduced, his energy had stabilized, and even his blood pressure had dropped slightly. So here's a small question that may have a big answer. What's really inside your healthy drink? If you've been drinking anything labeled 0, it's time to look beyond the front label. Turn the bottle. Read the fine print. Have you made the switch to natural drinks? Let me know below. Or just drop a lemon emoji if you're brewing your tea at home. And don't go anywhere. We still have another food trap that looks innocent, but may be silently thickening your blood. There's a woman named Carol. She's 74, always cheerful, always baking something warm and sweet for her grandkids. Her oatmeal cookies. Legendary. But Carol came to me one morning, confused and concerned. "Harold," she said, "I don't understand. I eat light, I use vegetable oil instead of butter, and yet, my cholesterol's up, my blood feels thick, and I've been feeling so tired lately." I asked her one simple question. "What kind of vegetable oil are you using?" She reached into her purse and pulled out a photo of her pantry. There it was, a big yellow bottle of canola oil. That's when I sighed, not at her, but at the industry that's been selling seniors like Carol a dangerous lie. You see, canola oil, like many refined seed oils, soybean, corn, sunflower, may be low in saturated fat, but they're high in something else, omega-6 fatty acids. And here's the twist. An excess of omega-6 without enough omega-3 creates chronic inflammation, thickens the blood, and raises the risk of heart attacks, stroke, and arterial damage. Your blood doesn't need more volume. It needs better viscosity, the ability to flow freely. But with too many omega-6 excess, the blood becomes sticky. It clumps. And it struggles to circulate. Worse, when these oils are heated, especially in frying or baking, they oxidize, creating compounds that can damage your heart, arteries, and brain. So I asked Carol to try a small swap. Use extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil for her baking instead. Rich in monounsaturated fats and antioxidants, these oils support healthy circulation and reduce inflammation. Just 6 weeks later, her blood panel showed lowered triglycerides, improved cholesterol ratios, and her energy. It came back like spring sunshine. So, here's a quick challenge for you. What oil is in your kitchen right now? Pause this video, take a look, and drop the name below. Let's help each other spot the hidden dangers. And don't go far, because next, we'll uncover a common, healthy snack that might be thickening your blood more than bacon ever could. Charlie was my neighbor for over 12 years. Retired Navy officer, always sharp, always the first to shovel snow off a neighbor's driveway. He had this laugh, deep, booming, unforgettable. But the last time I saw Charlie, he wasn't laughing. His wife had rushed him to the ER with severe chest pressure. No heart attack, thankfully, but dangerously high blood pressure and early signs of atherosclerosis. And the culprit? A breakfast ritual that seemed innocent, a big bowl of heart-healthy cereal, with a mountain of dried fruits. Now, don't get me wrong, fruit is good. But dried fruits? That's a different beast. You see, when fruits are dried, the water is removed, but the sugar stays. 1 cup of raisins has the same sugar as 3 cans of cola. That means glucose spikes. Insulin surges. Blood becomes sticky. And over time, it raises your risk of heart attacks, stroke, and metabolic syndrome, especially after 60. Even worse, most store-bought dried fruits are coated with added sugars, preservatives, and sulfites, which can inflame arteries and worsen hypertension. I remember Charlie saying, "It's just fruit, Harold. How bad can it be?" And I told him gently, "Charlie, after 60, even the natural things deserve a second look." I asked him to switch to fresh berries, especially blueberries, low glycemic, full of antioxidants, and great for circulation and brain health. We also added walnuts to his breakfast, a heart-friendly swap rich in omega-3s. Within a month, his blood pressure stabilized. And last winter, there he was again, shoveling my driveway before I even got up. So let me ask you, my friend. What's hiding in your healthy breakfast? Snap a photo and share it in the comments. Let's decode it together. And stick around, because next, we'll uncover a silent threat that might be hiding in your favorite healthy drink. Yes, even the sugar-free ones. If there was ever a woman who reminded me of my late sister, it was June. Sweet, funny, the kind of person who sends you a handwritten note just because she saw your favorite flower bloom. June was one of the first subscribers to our health circle. She had survived 2 surgeries, took care of her husband with Parkinson's, and still brought fresh muffins to our Sunday group walks. She was strength wrapped in gentleness. But one day, June fainted in her garden. No warning, no sign, just a drop. Turns out, she was dehydrated. But the twist? She drank water, lots of it. What she didn't realize was that her favorite afternoon beverage, diet soda, was robbing her of minerals. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame and acesulfame potassium, common in diet drinks, don't just confuse the body's insulin response. They also disrupt electrolyte balance, causing more sodium loss through urine. And when electrolytes drop, so does your heart's rhythm. That's not just dehydration. It's a recipe for arrhythmias, blood pressure crashes, and even cardiac arrest in extreme cases. June thought she was doing everything right. Low calorie. No sugar. Doctor approved. But the truth? These artificial drinks can increase stroke risk, especially in seniors over 65, according to research published in Stroke, the Journal of the American Heart Association. So what did we do? We replaced her daily soda with infused water, mint and lemon in the morning, berries and cucumber in the afternoon. We added a pinch of sea salt, rich in electrolytes. And within 2 weeks, her energy rebounded. So let me ask you, what's hiding in your fridge right now that looks harmless? Take a photo. Post it in the comments. I'll take a look personally. Stick with me, because the next segment uncovers a sweet item that's quietly stiffening your arteries and feeding silent inflammation. You know, not every story ends the way you hope. And not every friend gets the second chance they deserve. Edgar was a retired Navy mechanic. Big hands, warm heart. We used to meet every Wednesday for chess and coffee. He'd tease me for putting chia seeds in my oatmeal. Harold, he'd say, you trying to sprout a garden in your stomach? But one morning, Edgar didn't show up. His daughter called me later. He'd had a minor stroke during the night. He survived, thank heavens. But the real shock came later. Doctors linked it to his daily, healthy breakfast, flavored instant oatmeal. Yes, the kind marketed as Heart Smart. What they don't tell you. Those packets are packed with refined sugars, preservatives, and sodium levels that would make a dietitian sweat. Each serving often contains 10 to 15 grams of added sugar, causing sharp blood sugar spikes, followed by vascular inflammation. Over time, that inflammation quietly erodes the arterial lining, setting the stage for plaque buildup, high blood pressure, and yes, strokes. And the sodium? Just one little packet can deliver 300 to 400 milligrams. Now imagine having that with toast, coffee, maybe bacon, and you're over the daily sodium limit before 10 a.m. I remember visiting Edgar at rehab. He was quiet, frustrated. Not because of the stroke itself, but because, in his words, I thought I was doing everything right. And that's the tragedy, isn't it? Most heart attacks and strokes don't happen from one big mistake. They build slowly, from tiny, daily habits we think are harmless. So here's my question to you. What's your breakfast ritual? Drop it in the comments. I'll give it a look, and maybe even suggest a few heart-healthy swaps. Stick with me, because next up, we're uncovering the silent syrup that millions pour on their pancakes, and directly into their arteries. Some losses, they stick with you. And the one that haunts me the most? Gloria. She wasn't just a neighbor, she was a second mother. The kind who checked on you when your porch light stayed off too long, and always remembered your birthday, even when you didn't. We had a ritual. Sunday morning walks. She'd bring 2 cups of tea, and I'd bring stories. But one day, Gloria didn't show. Her niece later told me, she collapsed after breakfast, a massive heart attack. No warning signs. Just silence. Gone. When I asked what she'd eaten that morning, I froze. 2 slices of low-fat toast with light margarine. You see, that margarine she trusted? It was loaded with hydrogenated oils, trans fats, the kind that clog arteries, raise LDL cholesterol, and inflame blood vessels without mercy. What's worse, it was labeled heart healthy. That's the cruel twist. Marketing convinced her she was protecting her heart, while slowly poisoning it. Trans fats are now banned in many places, but they still sneak into shelf-stable baked goods, crackers, popcorn, and yes, even some health bars. Studies from the American Heart Association have shown a clear link between trans fat intake and increased risk of stroke, heart disease, and even memory loss in seniors. So what's the lesson? It's not just about what we eat, it's what we believe about what we eat. And those beliefs can kill us if we don't question them. Now I know some of you are wondering. So what should I use instead? Here's my tip: opt for real butter in moderation, or heart-healthy oils like olive or avocado. And always read those ingredient labels. If it says, partially hydrogenated, toss it. If you found this story moving, tell me in the comments. Have you ever believed something was healthy, only to find out later it wasn't? Let's talk about it. You're not alone. And next, I'll share the 5 real foods that help reverse the damage. Foods backed by science, not slogans.